Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Thankful Thursday. I am so glad to be here. I am your host, Dr. Samantha DeLoache, the model and pharmacist, and your professional speaker coach. And this is another wonderful edition of Public Speaking in Business. I hope you all have been enjoying the time and the effort that is getting put into making these shows come together. There's so many different things behind the scenes with technology and just things overall, coordinating with schedules, getting the guests here, but I absolutely love the finished product. I love talking to other speakers or just other individuals in their public speaking journey. I love to find out their tips, their strategies, what their experiences are like, and how they've gotten to the point that they are today. So I'm just really hoping you're getting out what I am intending for you to get out of it. This is free information so that you can know that public speaking is not just for one person, it's not for people in one particular field or area. Proper communication, effective communication, is for everyone. And the better you are at it, the better you will be at in life in general. If you can communicate effectively, you're going to get what you need and you're going to get what you want too, So you just got to be able to articulate those thoughts, get those ideas, those words, those feelings out, and you got to get them into the world. And so that's what this is about. And this is what the Public Speaking, the Model Speakers Academy is about as well. As you all know, in September, this past month, I launched the Model Speakers Academy to help individuals get more confidence in public speaking. It's an 8-week program where you learn the foundations, the essential things that'll help you be a better speaker, to get more confidence, get rid of that stage fright, whatever the issue is. And the model stands for motivate, organize, deliver, engage, and lead. And so that's what we want you to have after those 8 weeks, coming out ready to be able to speak and be able to just, regardless if it's for your job, your career, community, or for your, business, or if you want to be a professional speaker, it doesn't matter where you are in your journey, you can get something out of this program. So tonight I have a free webinar happening at 7 p.m. that if you want to get more information about the Model Speakers Academy, you need to tune in. You need to sign up right now so that you can find out all the great things that this academy has to offer, and you can refer it to some family or friends, someone who can benefit, because I've been telling everybody, you don't have to wait to 2025 to make changes. A lot of people say new year, new me, and they want to wait. No, you don't have to wait. You can make a decision today on this Thursday and say, hey, this is October 24th. I'm ready to make a change. I'm ready to claim and put some things into action so I could be rolling by the time 2025 comes in. So enough about that. I want to welcome our new guest, Sherry McClurkin. She's here to talk about her business and how public speaking has helped her in her career and her business. So thank you so much for joining me, Sherry. And tell people where you're from and a little bit more about your business.
Oh, I'm so honored to be here, Samantha. Thank you so much for having me. Yes, Sherry McClurkin. I'm residing in Tucson, Arizona,
Mhm.
U.S. I've been here for less than 3 years, coming from the East Coast. Lived
Okay.
in Maryland for the majority of my life. COVID hit me just like everybody else, and I got
Yeah.
depressed in the gray skies, and I was like, I don't want to live here anymore. Where do I want to live? I'm older. I'm going to live wherever the heck I want to live. So here I am.
That's wonderful. So tell us about your business.
Yes. So I was a trauma therapist for over 10 years, got kind of burnt out, tired of rules and regulations, which is
Mhm.
kind of my bent anyway, and just transitioned over to being a coach and a speaker and a writer. So much more freedom, can reach so many more people, and can fully encompass my faith into it, which I couldn't really do as a therapist because that's not appropriate and that's totally fine. But I
Right.
can as a coach, and that so I really work with Christians
Mhm.
who want to reach those high standards, who hold themselves to high standards, to help them break through the emotional blocks that get in the way, so
Mhm.
that they can be those people that they want to be. And
Mhm.
I do that through a simple, proven 5-step process I created called Renew, that is based on neuroscience, it's trauma
Mhm.
informed, my own story, and biblical principles. Very exciting, lots of good results.
Wow, that does sound exciting. And I just love that you made the change that you needed for yourself. I love to tell individuals you can rewrite your story at any moment.
Oh my
We don't have
God.
to get permission. We don't have to wait. We don't care what people say. I'm getting to the point now where I don't care what people think about Samantha and her life. This is my life. I have to do what's necessary. Now, granted, I'm not trying to break any rules, break the laws, but ultimately, my happiness is my responsibility. What I want for my future, I have to make sure that it happens. You know what I'm saying? So we got to stop giving over that control. If you want to move, move. If you have the capability, do it. If you want to, build a career or have a second career that fits your lifestyle, fits where you are, do it.
Well, I call this like my fourth career because actually I started in the IT world
Okay.
eons ago.
Hey,
Computers were a little bit bigger.
and heavier. Yes.
That's right.
Yes, yes. Well,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I
Yeah.
love it. I feel like, you know what? Keep changing till you get it right. And I think that's just the beauty, even with public speaking. Okay, the first speech didn't go well. All right, keep talking, keep speaking, keep refining your message, keep practicing, keep getting those reps in. The more you do it, the better you get. And so it's no problem. We want perfection or we want things to be cookie cutter, and that's just not life. So take the ebbs and the flows, take the ups and the downs, and just make it work. But be honest and true and authentic with yourself. That's what I like to think.
Your audience doesn't want it perfect, by the way. Your audience
Right.
doesn't want it perfect. Your audience wants to know that you're human, that you've
Yes.
also struggled, that you
Hmm.
get where they're coming from. And
Right.
we can't tell them that if everything's perfect,
Right.
right?
Right.
We have to show and share who we truly are
Hmm.
and other people's hardships that we know about and how we got to the other side because that's what they
Hmm.
want to know, right?
Right.
If you talk from your passion, if you talk from your own story, you're just telling your own story. And then
That's
you
right.
share some bits and pieces of other people's stories with permission, of course. And,
Yes.
and then what you're doing is truly connecting with people, human to human.
Right.
And that's what you need to do. So we need to
Mhm.
get out of that headspace that they're looking for something in particular in the audience. No, you're really sharing stories. It's all
Mhm.
about stories.
Absolutely. I love that. I know we're going to get more into that. So let's go ahead and get into the first question. Why do you believe public speaking is a
Yeah.
crucial skill for business professionals today?
Well, whether you recognize it or not, you're doing public speaking all the time.
Right.
When you are a business owner, when you represent a business, you are doing public speaking all the time. You represent that. So whatever you say, whatever you post, that is a type of public speaking. You are representing. So knowing how to say things that meet your audience, knowing how to say
Mhm.
things that connect, being real, that is very important because you are representing a business, you are representing your business maybe, your trademark, your
Mhm.
whatever it is for you. And so the key is reaching your audience. We all know that.
Right.
That's
That's right.
marketing, right? Marketing 101, reach your
Yes.
audience. Well, guess
Right.
what? That's speaking.
Exactly. And that's the most effective and the cheapest way initially, just to be able to talk about your product, talk about your service. You have to be your number one cheerleader. You have to be able to put the words out, say whatever it is, because if you don't, you'll be a best kept secret. And if you're in business, you don't want to be the best kept secret. You want individuals to know who you are and what you provide. And so I love that you say you're doing it anyway. We're public speaking anyway. So why not make sure you're doing it correctly and effectively?
Yes,
Because many times we're not as effective and we're not getting the results.
exactly. Right. And it's getting out of that. You mentioned it earlier, that perfectionism piece. And that's one of the things I work with people on is perfectionism, breaking free of that. Because guess what? That is not who you are. That is something you deal with. It is not who you
Right.
are.
Absolutely. I love that. And so my second question is, can you share a personal experience where public speaking significantly impacted your career or business?
Well, I mean, there's so many. Um, uh, More recently, I was talking to another coach who does a different type of coaching, and she was telling me her story where she started out in the medical field.
Okay.
Uh, she's a doctor in the medical field. And
Yeah.
then she realized that she does well growing businesses. Well, she's like, to me, she's living the dream. So she told me her story.
Mhm.
And by telling me her story that she moved to France, she moved to somewhere else, she moved to somewhere else, now she's living in Bali. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm following you.
Absolutely.
And I'm
Wow.
like, you're living the dream.
Yes.
That's the dream I want. So she connect that, not only like I was already into her because of the way she was talking about what she does and how
Hmm.
she can help people and help people businesses. But then when she really told me her personal story, I was like, I'm all in because you are
Hmm.
actually living what you're
Right.
telling me. And
Yes.
that made a huge, 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 huge difference. Huge difference.
Wow.
And
And I
so
love
when
that you,
I
oh,
tell
I'm sorry.
you,
Yeah.
that's okay. I'm a talker. You'll have to interrupt me. So when I tell you, I came from an alcoholic family. I was that
Mm,
very anxious, perfectionistic, fearful person. I failed out of college in my early 20s. When I
mm,
tell you part of my story, now you're more intrigued about what I do and how
right.
did I get to the point that I can be on Samantha's show and talk very calmly and
Mhm.
passionately and clearly about what I do and about speaking in general.
Wow, I love that. And let me just say, I'm a talker too. I used to get in trouble for that in elementary school, so now it's paying off. But I'm glad you brought up that because I don't know if or some people may not know, but I'm a pharmacist by trade, so that's my background. So I'm in healthcare as well. But I always knew I just had more to offer, and so I have a trademark, modeling pharmacist, because I did modeling and I still model, and I do motivational speaking. So I took my model and created a model mindset, mission of daily excellent living, meaning every day we have a choice to make how we're going to live our lives. And then I said, you know what? I want to help others be able to model their best selves or share their stories, share their voices, because we know that the number one fear in the world is public speaking. And I
Right.
said, it's so funny. They said people actually fear public speaking greater than death. So that means they'd rather be in the casket than to give the eulogy. And I'm like, that's crazy. So I
Funny.
said,
Oh my
I need to
God.
create my academy to help people, get the fear out the way, because fear is energy, but it's just in the wrong area. You need to transfer that energy into something that's going to be more like excitement. Let it fuel you and not hinder you. And so that's my journey. So my goal within the next 5 years is to be finished with pharmacy. I love it. It's been great, but I can still consult maybe here or there, but I would rather just full time travel the world. When you were talking about how that doctor is in Bali now, I'm doing a speakers retreat in Bali next year in
Good for
October.
you.
So yeah, so basically I want to travel the world and I want to be able to do what I need to do. And all I need is a good computer and good internet and be able to have my workshops, work with my clients or, customers, whatever the case, and just be able to live my life at my own, speed, that freedom.
Absolute. Right? Yes.
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 And so yeah, so I loved hearing that, and I loved how you said you transitioned. You started in IT, and now here you work for yourself. You're a coach, you're a speaker, you're a writer, and I think that's phenomenal. I think people need to see that you really can shape and create the future you want. It's up to us. It doesn't have to be perfect. It can be scary, but we got to make that first move and decide that I don't like where I am. I don't like what I'm doing, or I don't like what is going on, and I want more. And once you make that decision to say, I'm going to do what I need to do to get there, then that's when you can really start walking into your freedom.
One of the things I talk to people about is really look at the cost. And I don't mean financial, that's a piece of it, but what is your relational cost, your energy cost, your emotional
Mhm.
cost of staying in what you're doing?
Right.
There's a cost to that. And
Hmm.
wouldn't it be nice to have that energy back and that brain space? You know how sometimes we just don't have space in our mind for one more thing? We have
Right.
moments and days like that. Well, wouldn't it
Hmm.
be nice to have that space back? Wouldn't it be nice to have that energy and that time back where you could actually do what you want to do?
Hmm.
And to do that, you have to take that little step towards what you think you're fearing, because it's
Right.
actually not scary. So part
No.
of fear is that it tells us to be afraid, but there's really nothing to be afraid of. I mean,
Right.
the worst case scenario, honestly, the worst case scenario in speaking, you didn't make your pitch, it just didn't get across. So you
Right.
try again. Now you know what doesn't work so well. You try again. Nobody's
Right.
going to be throwing tomatoes.
Right.
Nobody's going to be like the cane, how the old school cane coming out from the side of the stage and pulling you off
Yes.
the stage,
Right. Right.
real old school. That's not happening. That's not
No.
happening. So what are we really afraid of? There's really nothing, honestly, to be afraid of. It's just something within us that says be afraid of
Hmm.
it. But the actual experience is not fearful.
Absolutely. I love that. Yeah. So my third question is, what are some common public speaking challenges that business professionals face and how can they overcome them?
We overthink it, right? We make it
Mm,
more complicated. We overthink it and make it more complicated. And this is one of my tendencies: put too much information in. Like,
mm,
I've had to learn to hold back. Like, I cannot give what I've learned over decades to someone else in one session, nor can I
right.
ever really give them that, right?
Right.
And
Right.
and there's part of me that, like, I want you to know everything. I want you to know this is why, and you need to know this. You need to know this.
Hmm.
No, rein it back. One
Right.
topic, one point. Make your point.
Hmm.
Use stories. That's the other thing. Make sure you're using stories. As I said
Hmm.
before, that's how you really connect, to people, to people, people to people. So to
Absolutely.
know that, like, I've had 4 or 5 different careers, to know that, like I said, I failed out of college. How did I get to be a licensed professional counselor for over 10 years when I failed out of college in my 20s? Well, that's part of my story. When after
Right.
God hit me, in part of, because I didn't become a Christian until I was 38. That's when
Hmm.
God grabbed me. And then in that process, through that, he sent me back to college in my late 40s and
Hmm.
finished my bachelor's, got on to the master's, got the license, did the
Mm.
next phase of my life. And to start
Right.
thinking in his phases, the no one thing lasts forever. It doesn't have to last forever. Just because you did XYZ, you don't have to
Hmm.
stay in XYZ. As you were saying, Samantha, we can change, make different choices. It's
Hmm.
okay. It's okay.
Yeah, it is. It is. I love everything you said. And you're right. We overthink it. We will talk or think ourselves out of something before it even happens. We'll think of everything can go wrong. We can just come up with all the scenarios, and a lot of the things that we are thinking and stressing over never even happen. So we have to really, really, let go of that fear, the anxiety, and like you said, stop trying to put it all together in one day or in 24 hours. Look, that's not the reality of it. It's going to take some time. It's a process. So we just got to give ourselves permission to be human, to if it fails, okay, that's not the end of the world. Even if it doesn't go right, like you said, we'll have experience now. We know what didn't work, so now we can pivot and do something else. And so I loved, one of my friends, when I was having one of my moments, in these most recent weeks, because I've been having moments throughout 2024. She said, life is full of experiences. Stop marrying yourself to the outcome. Just go through the experiences as they come. Yes. And then she said, if you like it, great. If you didn't, it was a lesson. Don't call it a loss. It was just a lesson. And then pivot and try to find more of what you like. We overcomplicate. Like you said, make it simple. It's an
Oh, I love
experience.
that. Yes. Stop. Say those words again. Stop tying yourself to the outcome. Is that,
Yeah,
did I say
stop
that right?
marrying yourself to the outcome, or
Yeah.
you can say tying yourself to the outcome, but it's
Yes.
like just go through the experience. Don't worry about how it's going to turn out per se. Just do your part.
Yes.
Just go through the experience. Don't
That
hold
is
yourself, you
so
know.
important, because even at public speaking, if you go do public speaking, and if you're marrying yourself to the outcome of, let's say, I want to get 10 new clients out of this, and that
Mhm.
doesn't happen, that doesn't mean it was a failure, because you're
Right.
planting seeds. You got to look at this as planting seeds, because humans are humans. Sometimes
Yes.
humans have to hear things multiple times
Right.
before they take the step to make the purchase, using that
Right.
as the example.
Mhm.
So you're right. I love that. I'm going to steal that.
Feel it, because I stole it too. And she said, I said, oh, I love that. Because she was like, life is just experiences. And when we do that, when we put things in perspective, then it gives us more power. We get out of that, oh my gosh, I'm a victim, or it's just so crazy. Or like you said, I'm a failure because this didn't work. No, you're not. Especially when we deal with other humans. I can do a great speech, I can do a great pitch, but I don't know what that person's issues are, or what, like you said, they may have to see it 50 times before they're ready to move, or they may have other things. I can't marry myself to how people receive my message, or how people, it's a present. I'm giving a gift. And so if you give a gift from a good place, an honest place, this is me generic, genuinely giving you a gift. I can't help if you don't like it or don't receive it. I know I gave it with great intentions. And so what you do with that gift, I'm not responsible with it. So if they throw it in the trash, if they give it away, we have to stop wanting to be in that whole process. Like we gotta, it's all our responsibility. No, it's not. I
That's
gotta do
right.
my part, and let the other person do theirs, let whoever do whatever, and be okay with it. Long as you're doing what you know you need to do, you can release yourself from the outcome. And that's been so freeing just from hearing that, because we try to control too much. And a lot of
Yes.
stuff is out of our control anyway. We can't
Yes.
control it, so we're stressing ourselves out over something that we can't control anyway. I can't
Yep.
control another person. I can't control, my job. I can't control whether people receive my message. All I can really control is Samantha, and I have a hard time keeping me in check
Right.
most days. You
Right.
know, so we got to do that.
Right. And I love what you were saying about, actually, I've just lost my thought. It'll come back though. Oh,
Yes.
there it is. See, it already came back. I think also we psych ourselves out. Some people who are afraid of speaking psych themselves out with, well, what if I can't? The what ifs. What if I can't answer this question? What if this person's unhappy? What if this, what if this was this? It is okay to say to an audience, I don't know the answer to that. Or then that's a little bit out of my sphere, or
Hmm.
it's okay. That is completely
Yes.
fine. By the way, that's also being real. They don't
Yes.
want someone who thinks they have all the answers. That's
Right.
not real.
That's
So
right.
it is very real to be able to say, I'm really not sure how to answer that question, but you know what? I'll take it offline and do the best I can.
Right.
That's all you have to do. Literally, it is that simple. It
Yeah.
is that simple. So I'm rethinking this. Instead of perfectionism, I think it's a lot of imposter syndrome, because imposter syndrome
Oh.
is more of feeling like we have to have all the answers, which is another thing I work with people on, work with my
Hmm.
patients on, is that imposter syndrome, like sharing our stories, sharing our Bible, our biblical stories. People think that they have to be able to have the answers to all these great theological
Hmm.
questions.
Hmm.
Like you can't. You simply
Right.
can't. And it's okay
Right.
to say, I don't know, but what
Hmm.
I know is here's my story, and here are the
Hmm.
miracles I've seen in my story. That's
Right.
what I know. Those other things, I don't know.
Exactly.
But
And I'm
listen to
glad
what
you
I'm
brought that.
telling you.
Right, right. I'm glad you brought that up, because one, you don't ever want to lie to your audience either. So if you don't know, don't just make up an answer and say something so somebody can look it up on their cell phone and say, well, actually, you said this and this is the answer. If someone brings you in that situation, that's a great question. Yeah, like you said, I don't have the answer, but I'll be willing to look into it later. Or you know what, that's food for thought. That's something I can check into later. But it's okay. None of us know everything, and I don't really want to know everything. I know enough as it is now. I have enough on my plate. My bandwidth has enough that I'm trying to keep together. So
Exactly.
yes, that was great to bring up. So my final question is, what is one essential tip that you would offer to someone looking to improve their public speaking skills?
Well, really, I always tell people to like write it down, write down what you think you want to say, and just practice it, practice it, practice it. So you get used to saying the words,
Mm-hmm.
and practice it in a mirror. So you get used to being looked at. And I
Yes.
think that's what freaks people out too, is that they're going to be the center of attention. And that's
Mm-hmm.
okay. Of course, you're going to be the center of attention. You're the speaker. Why is that so weird?
Right, right,
And
exactly.
and they're not, what I think there's another piece in there, which is why I think it's imposter syndrome, is judgment, that fear of judgment or that fear of
Yes,
rejection. Like,
yes.
okay, so that's on them.
Right.
If you're going to be judged, okay, I'm going to be judged. Just accept that I'm going to be judged, and you know
That's
what?
right.
It's by a set of people I don't really know, and they're
Mm-hmm.
not going to be my client. So because if they don't, like you just said, if they don't receive it, I don't have any control over that, and that's okay. They'll never be my client. That's okay. There's
Right.
someone else for them. There is someone else
Exactly.
for them. It's just not me. We
Mm-hmm.
are not a fit for everybody. So get used
Right.
to being judged. Get
Mm-hmm.
okay with that. Get okay with not having all the answers and saying, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Practice and be okay with going off script. I'm one of those people, I don't memorize very well. And even
Mm-hmm.
if I had it memorized, when I actually get in front of the camera or the audience, my
Mm-hmm.
brain just goes like, hey, let's go this other direction.
Right. And that helps to make the experience more authentic, more genuine. And yeah, nobody wants to have a robot talking to them or teaching
Right,
them. They want
right.
somebody who's real with emotions and human, somebody that they can relate to. And so that's what we need to focus on. And so yeah, I like what you said. Who cares about somebody judging you? People are going to have something to say regardless.
Oh my
So as
God.
long as you're doing your very best, at the end of the day, I'm up here. You paid to come see me, or you watching me. So I have the floor. So whether you like it or not, I'm just going to do my very best,
Right.
and that's all I can do. And so that's, as long as you're prepared, as long as you're doing your part, then If people like it, great. If they don't, yeah, every client is not going to be your client. Every dollar is not a good dollar,
Right.
to make. So you have to just know that, the people who I'm for, they're gonna love it, they're gonna receive it, and that's who I'm trying to get my message to my audience, to the people who are supposed to get their breakthrough, their healing through me. Who I've been called to help.
And I really think my having been a trauma therapist for over 10 years really helped with that, because I have
Hmm.
clients who have been with me for most of that 10 years and they're still want to work with me. And then I
Hmm.
have other experiences where a person, I didn't know them, brand new client, they walked out after 10 minutes. So, I've got it all. And I know, like, I've learned you have to learn to not take that personally. They don't actually
Hmm.
know you. They don't know
Right.
me. So they're
Right.
not rejecting me. They're not rejecting anything
Exactly.
about me. They don't know me.
Exactly.
And
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 we
I don't
take it.
need everybody to like me. I don't need everybody
Right.
to like me. And they're just
Right.
not going to. That's just not reality.
That's right. And 7 billion people in the world. So I don't care if these few hundred or even few thousand, it's okay. Like you said, as long as I know my intentions are good, my heart is pure, and I'm doing my best, that's all that matters. I can't control whether I'm liked. You're gonna respect me, but you don't have to like me. How about that?
Yeah,
So that's a
right.
trade-off. Yeah.
I'm going to give you my Christian love. I
Hmm.
don't have to like you.
Right. And in the Bible, he didn't ask us to like everybody. He said, love your neighbor. He didn't say like your neighbor.
That's
Because,
right.
like, that's a decision. Just like love is a decision, and love is greater than like anyway. Because like can change. People are married, and some days don't like their spouse. They still love them, but they don't like them. So it's like cabbage. Sometimes I don't have any kids. I don't have a spouse either. But some people don't like their kids when they're acting up, but they still love their kids. So at the end of the day, we overrate like. We put so much on being liked or somebody liking me, and why are we jumping through all these hoops for a like? It's
Yeah.
okay. I guess with social media, with the liking and loving, and
Oh my
you didn't
God.
like my post. Okay, you saw it, you read it. You didn't have to like it, but I know you saw it. So that's all that it really boils
It's
down
all
to.
planting seeds. You got to look at it as planting seeds, planting
Yeah.
seeds. And even if you're planting seeds for somebody else's program,
Hmm.
completely fine.
Right.
Completely fine. Maybe you've taught that person that's listening that isn't really into what you're doing and how you're doing it.
Hmm.
Maybe you've taught
Right.
them what they're okay. I'm not going to look for someone like that. I want to need something different. I've been
Hmm.
through. I've had coaches, my own for me, my own business and coaches that
Hmm.
they are fantastic people and they have a
Hmm.
great product, but it wasn't quite the fit for me. It doesn't
Right.
mean I disliked them, but it just wasn't the fit for me. I've
Right.
gone through that. Just like I said, was as a therapist, I've had people walk
Right.
out,
Right. It's
but
okay.
and that's okay. Exactly, it's part of the process. It's a learning
Part of the
process
process.
for them. It's a
Yeah.
learning process for me. Learn from
That's
it.
right. Learn the experience. Learn what you need to learn. Yeah. So how can we stay in contact with you? I thoroughly enjoyed our conversation, Sherry. Tell us how we can stay in contact with you, any products, what you may have coming up. Just keep us in the know.
Oh yeah. So, gosh, yes, I have a website that's not in great condition, but it's sherrymcclurkin.com. The best place is my LinkedIn, which is Sherry McClurkin Brain Tamer. There aren't very many Sherry McClurkins, but it's Sherry McClurkin Brain Tamer, and you can find me. You'll see me. Um, that's the better place. I keep that more up to date. And I also post on there. I tend to do free workshops, free 1 hour workshops on perfectionism and imposter syndrome about every 2 to 3 weeks. I just did
Okay.
imposter syndrome last night, which is why I'm
Wow.
so up. That's why I'm like, oh, I recognize that. That's imposter syndrome.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those are the free things. I'm also part of the Georgia Christian Business Network, which is a
Okay.
wonderful network. Join that. You don't have to live in Georgia. I don't. And I do, sometimes I do their Wellness Wednesday.
Mm.
They have a Wellness Wednesday every single week. Sometimes I'm part of the panel and sometimes I'm the guest speaker. I'm guest speaking at the end of November.
Okay.
Um, and I'm in a summit, a mental health summit, and the first weekend of December. I'll have all those dates on my website and LinkedIn.
Mhm.
But also, I offer the programs I offer. I offer two distinct programs. They can be broken down in smaller pieces, but I'm presenting it as one, an intensive, where we take a block of time, a long block of time, and we dig deep on one specific topic so that we can really, really get to that core. That's
Mhm.
my my point is to get to the emotional core, clip those roots of that emotional core that's causing the issues around perfectionism, imposter syndrome, trauma, shame. And then my other program is a 12-week program. And in that 12 weeks, we're hitting everything.
Wow.
Everything. We are hitting everything in that 12 weeks. We're going through imposter syndrome, perfectionism, humility, boundaries, all of
Mm.
everything, every topic we hit. All everything I teach includes starts with learning how to master your emotions and your mind, and
Yes.
have so much more ability than many people recognize. So we really want to start with mastering your emotions and mind, and then we work from there to get down to emotional roots. Why do we have these wounds? There's wounds behind
Mm.
just about everything. Like it or
Oh, yeah.
not, we're all
Right.
wounded.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
It's just
yes.
the way it is.
That's the process. That's life. Yeah.
That is the
Wow.
process, right? That's the process. Fighting it doesn't help. Let's just
Mm-hmm.
accept that we're all wounded. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
one of the people who can help you heal that wound. Heal that wound.
Wow.
If you have a lot of anxiety, you've got a wound underneath it. You
Yes.
perfectionism, you got a wound underneath there. Like it or not,
Mm-hmm.
that's where it comes from. It's not
That's
who
right.
you are. Too many
Mm-mm.
people go about like, well, this is just who I am. This is the way I've always done
Mm-mm.
it. Well, okay, I can accept that that's the way you've always known how to do it. Let me show you a different way, and it's heal those
Mm-hmm.
wounds. So
Mm-hmm.
again, free up that brain space. You can free up your time. Look at the
Right.
cost of staying where you are. You don't have to stay
Mm.
where you are.
Absolutely not. Wow. Well, that was a lot of good stuff. Oh, good. You have some more to tell us? What
No,
else?
I
What
was
else
just
do you
going
have?
to say, no, I mean, there, I can always, like I said, I'm a talker. So I can go on and on and on, but LinkedIn is probably where I keep everything up to date. I'm a
Okay.
solopreneur, so yeah, I'm a
Hmm.
little slow to hit all the places, but LinkedIn I
Gotcha.
keep very up to date, and that points to
Okay.
everything else too.
Awesome. Well, you all heard all the great things Sherry has, and so I'm going to make sure that her LinkedIn is included in this video so that you will be able to follow her and stay up to date on all the great things that she has coming on. And I thoroughly enjoyed our
Oh, I have one
conversation
more
today.
thing.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No,
I do
no.
have a free resource for all of you.
Okay.
SherryMcClurkin.com/free dash renew dash resource.
Okay.
And that you will get there. Uh, Watch my video on how I came up with Renew, which is actually my story. And it
Mm,
concludes living with the not enoughs. Not good enough, not that I'm not enough. That's because that's where I started. So you will
mm-hmm.
learn more of my story and why I was like that, and how I changed, and how that has shaped me as a coach, and how then I deliver a healing product to you. And then the other one is a step by step through my Renew process on being present, the power of presence, that being
Mm,
here in the moment instead of your mind in 20 different places, being here in the moment and the power of that, and how Christ centering that is also. To get
mm.
more of your Christ identity, we are needing to be more in the present moment. This is the only moment we control,
That's right.
however much we control it.
Right, right, right. Wow, well, those are great resources. So I'm going to make sure I have the links of that as well. So I hope you all thoroughly enjoyed our conversation today. If you're watching this as a replay, put hashtag replay. But definitely, if you miss any of the wonderful episodes that have been happening with public speaking and business, well, shame on you. You've been missing out. You need to get caught up. Go through, look on my page, look on my YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn, and get all the great things that are going on. And like I said, tonight I have a free webinar at 7 p.m. for the Model Speakers Academy. So make sure you sign up so that you can be here and to get the information about the Model Speakers Academy. And I'm also doing a informational session about the Bali retreat, my international Bali retreat that's happening next October. It's a speakers retreat, but it's also for individuals who just want to explore Bali. So the first 3 days is the speakers retreat. The other 7 days, we're going to explore Bali, get the culture and everything. So both of those are happening. The Bali experience informational sessions at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the webinar for Model Speakers Academy is at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. So hopefully I can see you at both of those things. And if you know somebody who would like to be there, great. Let them know so they can sign up and they can show up. And again, thank you so much, Sherry, for all of this great information. And yes, I'm going to put all the links and thank everyone for coming on. We hope you have a great afternoon, great lunch, and I'll see you tomorrow